of Umhlatuzi wheeling guideline. Yeah, and it states the municipality's wheeling intentions, and then you've developed a really great, done the billing calculations, you've tabled the item at council. Anyway, Audrey, can you talk us through it, please? Let me not tell your story.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Josh. Yes, my process has been very slow, unfortunately, and it was originally driven by one customer and a trader who approached the municipality, and that's where we started. Now, the guidelines we did work on with the previous year's training that we did, and therefore you can see it's there. I've just added the comment from yesterday when we were working on the document to include the new rules. But as I say, our process was slow. I think one of my biggest challenges was the concern. There's always when we talk about electricity being obtained from somewhere else, there are always concerns about the loss of revenue. And I think for my experience in our municipality was exactly that there was hesitance from other parties because they thought that the municipality was going to lose revenue. Now, hence I had to then do that whole W bill calculation as how we are going to go about. Okay, so what have I done in the meantime? Or how successful have I been? I've been successful in submitting the item to council. I've been successful in getting these wheeling guidelines through, and hopefully by doing this and with our dummy bills have managed to at least make some sense and explain the whole principle to other role players in the municipality. Where I am now, oh my goodness, well, I'm busy with the wheeling policy, and I need to admit and say thank you to Frans. When I started looking for policies, I did come across the Ekurhuleni policy, and as you will see when you look at it, you'll probably have a little bit of deja vu because it looks like something you've seen this morning already. So thank you. We are working on that one and just changing it to suit our municipality because we don't have all those categories of customers, and there are definitely things that I don't think will go through this municipality that is similar to the way that France and them approached it. But thank you for having the information out there, and I hope you don't mind me using it. My next steps are also in terms of the other agreements, the agreements with the trader, the use of systems agreements. I found that my challenges there was that, and Josh knows that by all means, I'm not a technical person. I'm not electrically qualified. I'm a numbers person. And then I work in customer services. But my personality is curious. And so I like to take on challenges, and hence I've taken on this challenge and trying to at least make sense of the information out there. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I'm splitting up the agreements, that we have a separate agreement for traders versus generators that's like embedded in the municipality. For me, it would just make better sense if I separate the two. I can gladly take advice on that, but that is how I've started changing the documents that I've downloaded. I've also downloaded those documents from the Western Cape site, and because if I don't know where to start, I definitely know that there are people there who has done it, and I'm not into reinventing the wheel. I'm not a lazy person, but surely if there's something that someone can help me with, I will gladly take it. So that is where we are now. In terms of getting the policy through, I'm going to use the web tariff since we have nothing else, and I actually don't even know how to start doing something different. I just don't have the knowledge. So for me, taking the simple way like Ekurhuleni using webs, it just makes sense. Can easily be supported and even audited to where the information is coming from. I will be adding the web tariff as part of our municipal tariffs so that it is visible to anyone that is interested in maybe wheeling with through our network with or through the Eskom network to our customers. Yeah, so that is where we are. My biggest challenge now is the agreements to get them in a format that makes sense to everybody and even our legal department. And once that is done, we will take my intention is to take all the documents for approval in just one batch. It's probably going to be a little bit of information overload, but the processes in municipalities, as you all know, is slow. So if I can take it all in once, then hopefully I can get it all passed at the same time. But that's our story. We are looking forward to getting the wheeling in place. Apart from our challenge in terms of solar and SSEG, where we are also very grateful for Sustainable Energy Africa for the assistance. But in terms of wheeling, we are definitely in our baby shoes.
No, Audrey, that's helpful.
Take any help that is available out there.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and I think the purpose of this sort of call is not to just it's also to connect people to help each other. So, I mean, we haven't set up a WhatsApp group for this training. We've done it in the past for all of our in-person trainings. We set up WhatsApp groups so that people can follow up. But what I can, I mean, I don't know what the best way for people to connect with each other is. Hopefully you can sort of message on Teams here or get email addresses. But if there is something that you'd like from someone, Nick's been emailing you all week. So just reply to Nick's email, ask him, can you connect me with France, or can you connect with Audrey or Bernard from Western Cape Government or whatever it is, and we can put you in touch via email. So that's a part of the idea. I know it's really this, Audrey, I can't agree more. We want to be sharing and learning from each other. That's why yeah, there's no point reinventing the wheel. That's the whole purpose of the Western Cape Government's toolkit, is to provide, templates to everyone. Yeah, and Audrey, I just wanted to commend you because you are just going for it. And that's really the only way to do this. Just one person in a municipality put their hand up and say, I'm going to struggle with this, so I'm going to just go for it. So yeah, so keep going for it, Audrey, and you can, you're basically there. I see you already customizing the use of systems agreements, so that's great. You're already engaging with traders. You've got your WEPS credit method. You just get that guideline approved by council, which I believe you said you have. Was that your process? You took this guideline to council, explained the tariffs. Let me share this. I really like what you've done. You've done this dummy wheeling calculation. I hope people can sort of see my screen. So yeah, you've added the municipality's bill, and you've got the customer bill, and then you've added these credits from Eskom and how you pass the credits along. So here, if you can see that number, leave me alone. That number there, that's the credit that Eskom gives. Eskom wheeling credit 14 million, and then you're passing that credit on to the customer, the exact same amount. So and as we say, everything else is, all the rest of the part of the bill continues to be paid as usual before. So yeah, it's revenue neutral, and you showed this to your council, and then that allowed them to feel comfort. Is that right, Audrey?
Yes, Josh, that is correct. Well, I hope they are comfortable, that they agree to it. So I'm sure I did manage to get them to understand it.
No, great. No, thanks, Audrey. That's helpful. I think, yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to ask Audrey a question. Feel free. If anyone wants to raise their hand, go for it. Otherwise, thanks so much, Audrey. And then we move on to the last little bit of the training. This is also my last training at SCA. Sadly taken a job at the Stellenbosch University, so I won't be doing much more of these trainings. So it's a sad one for me too, but I'll still be around, so and involved. I know. So here's this updated wheeling guideline. Yeah, I know. Sorry, am I dropping shocking news yet to people? I must, yeah. Anyway, I'm still involved, but there's capable hands at Sustainable Energy Africa. But yeah, I'm moving across to work at the university. Well, I already have, but this is the last training that I said I'd do. So yeah, maybe I can share my email address with everyone. But yeah, Nick and Snow and Tabang and Megan and Tanaka and Joel, they're all at Sustainable Energy Africa and rocking. So there's lots of people helping. Yeah, so we updated this guideline last night and early this morning to reflect some changes that have come as of yesterday. I want to see if Moifi's on the call. He said he was going to join us, and we need to give him a big congratulations about these wheeling rules. But Moifi's not here. Okay. But that's really great that we've got to, like, we beat the media to it. Like, it's not even out yet. I don't think nurses even put out a media release on these rules, but I'm excited to see it. Anyway, so I've updated the legal and regulatory framework piece of this template wheeling guideline to add these regulatory rules that were now approved in March. Explaining how use of system tariffs should be done. And just want to reassure everyone that the WEPS credit method is explicitly allowed in the rules. It's stated there you can apply a tariff and apply a wheeling credit. They call it a wheeling credit, not a WEPS credit, because we don't know if the name of WEPS might change. But this process of applying a credit is allowed in the rules, or at least in the draft rules. We're yet to see the final rules. Then I've simplified these wheeling scenarios and I've removed the diagrams because I looked at the way Ekurhuleni did it, and you didn't have diagrams, and I felt like it just complicated it. So I've just stated you can have an Eskom connected generator and a municipal connected generator. Also, the rules, nurses' rules explain the scenarios the way we have, so they explain it there. So I feel like we don't need to repeat ourselves in our municipal wheeling guideline. We can just refer to these rules. So I've explained the two rules and explained how the credits are done for each rule. And then I put this table in from the Western Cape government's wheeling toolkit. I feel like this is really helpful, and this explains the agreements needed. And Bernard spoke to this the other day. Bernard, I feel like we, just on a side note, and maybe to everyone, I feel like we're getting to the point where there's enough municipalities sort of starting to reach the point of implementation where a deep dive on these agreements, training on how to customize the agreements might be useful. I don't know how or where we can make it happen otherwise, but it feels like that's something that could be useful. Yeah, anyway, so there's the 4 scenarios where the generator is connected to the municipality and the generator is connected to Eskom, and it's with and without a trader. And then, as you said, Audrey, you've separated out the use of system agreement from the connection agreement, and that makes sense when there's a trader. Yeah, so these are the various agreements required, and then I've highlighted in yellow the pieces where you might want to change. So the off-taker, so here I've said the off-taker must be on medium voltage. I think it's worth maybe explicitly stating whether it's a 66 kV and what the maximum demand is. So in Ekurhuleni, the off-taker must be connected at 6.6 kV, and they must have a maximum demand or an NMD of at least 1 MVA. So you can state that the minimum connection size of the off-taker, and what tariff they should be on. Tariff D or Tariff J in Ekurhuleni, something like that. And then it says, this is our next steps. And then it says, please contact us. So it's a very generic, very high level. It just states those criteria: who can wheel, what's the tariff look like, it's the WEPS credit method. And And the idea is then to take this to council and then to at least start being the sort of framework or the municipal framework for you to wheel. So I've updated it. Let me send this link of the updated one. It's the same link as what we've been using on the SSEG website. Valentine, is it not? Let me check if I'm not wrong. Right, no, Valentine, it's this link. It's not on the, it's on the, here we go. So I've sent it now. Thanks for pointing that out. It should be there. If you click on that, you should have the updated wheeling guideline. Yeah, Bernard, do you want to share some thoughts?
Yeah, we, as part of our toolkit, we tried to figure out what are the key decisions that needed to be made when you want to implement like a wheeling guideline. So the stuff is in there, but I'll put a screenshot on the side just so people can see. We decided that there were 10 things that are really important to decide on, and then those things guide the things that you put in your guideline. And from what I've seen, they align very well with the template that you provided. But it's sometimes useful to set to think about what the things are that you should think about.
Would you want to? Can you show us that?
I'm sure. I'm going to share now. Just give me a thumbs up if it comes out.
Yeah, we see the key decisions.
Okay, cool. So this is just part of our wheeling toolkit. So like all the stuff is in there. So we've got a template as well, but I think the Josh's template is more up to date. So I'd rather use that. But here are the 10 key decisions. So like where would we allow generators? Do you only allow them inside the municipality, or do you only allow them at Eskom, or do you allow them for both? And like each of those things have different complications. And like when you start out, you might decide to only do one of them. So in the city of Cape Town, the first couple of ones were only intra-municipal, which then makes it simpler, right? So you make the problem simple or simpler by doing one thing, and then when you do the next thing, the only complication is the thing that you're adding. It's not as complex anymore. And then a lot of these things are the same. So like voltage connection, do you allow HV, MV, maybe you start doing LV, but if you do LV as well, then your amount of customers goes up quite a lot. Do you have a size restriction of your customers? So like your Carolini has a size restriction, but maybe 10 years from now, they won't have one. You need to think about the metering and who owns what metering and where. That's really important. You need to think about, do you only allow one-to-one wheeling, which is the simplest one? Do you allow one-to-many, which is a little bit more complicated? Do you allow many-to-one, which is really complicated? Or do you allow many-to-many, which is extremely complicated? It's likely that you start at one side and move to the other one. How are you going to do your wheeling calculations? Like we've just seen now, a municipality the size of Ekurhuleni can do it in Excel. And if one of the top 5 biggest municipalities can do it, I'm sure the rest of us can also do it there for now. Then you need to make some decisions on what kind of wheeling tariff you will use. It's almost certain that most municipalities will get the most benefit from going the WEPS, or like Josh said, maybe not WEPS, but a better wording for that, rebate system. But you could also go the explicit use of systems route if you wanted to. How are you going to calculate your excess? France mentioned earlier that it's unlikely that there'll be excess, but it is something that you will need to plan for, because that will also make a difference in for the business case of the people that are doing the wheeling, because if they know that their excess will, for example, be bought by the municipality at a predetermined rate, then that's something that potentially they could work into their business case, and maybe it's a functionality that the municipality can use to buy some power at a cheap method without going through really complicated procurement. Don't take that as advice. There's maybe some legal stuff that I haven't thought about. How do we rebate the excess? And then what about SSEG? If you're already SSEG and you're getting feed in tariffs, do you also allow those people to wheel? Now there's some complications if you do that, because now it once again becomes more complicated. So let's say for all of these key decisions, there's a simple answer, there's a complex answer, and it's up to the municipality to decide which ones you have appetite for now. And it's likely that over time you'll start moving towards more of the complicated ones. But all of this stuff is available. I'll put the link, or the link has already been shared, so everyone's got that. But thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Bernard. That's, yeah, a nice way to sort of make it clear what are the decisions to be made in the wheeling